Oh man, horrific news. Terrible news for the Webster. We're only going to get the one outing, apparently. I know. 2024 has been quite a crazy year, but I really would have thought we would have had to wait maybe a little bit longer for some crushing disappointment, but then be the breaks sometimes, right guys? Madam Web's box office flop has canceled plans for a new superhero franchise at Sony. The Spider-Man-less Spider Universe, well, it was never going to be in the works, guys. Oh well. Yeah, over at Sony, of course. We're not going to see another Madam Web movie for another decade plus. Aw, shucks. And maybe Dakota Johnson by that time will actually be of an appropriate age to actually play the character that is the source for the movie, and maybe by that time a different studio will actually have the rights for it. Sony Pictures' Madam Web scored one of the lowest superhero box office debuts in recent memory. I was also trying to think, like, what else there is comparison in, like, the recent decade? There's nothing, at least with this level of marketing, this level of prestige from a major studio. There's nothing that even comes close. Like, this has been abysmal, man. Like, even Shazam 2 rounds to this opening. That's hilarious. The film grossed a meager $26.2 million in its first 6 days since debuting midweek on Valentine's Day through Monday's President's Day holiday. That tally became one of the lowest opening totals for any film based on a Marvel Comics character. I'm thinking maybe without adjusting for inflation, maybe Blade when it first came out, maybe Daredevil, but you have to go back 20 plus, just about 30 years at this point. It's hilarious. The studio did have plans on starring new franchises based on Dakota Johnson's titular character and 3 other female characters played by Sydney Sweeney, Isabella Merced, which kind of looks like they misspelled Mercedes, and Celeste O'Connor. What are the names of the characters? Well, even the people that reviewed the film don't even know. However, now insiders tell Hollywood Reporter that given the atrocious box office receipts, there likely won't be another Madam Web movie for another decade. Holy man. Perhaps you could have roped in a few more simp dollars if you allowed the girls to dress like this for the film, but you didn't, and now you got to reap what it is you sowed. We're not going to see another Madam Web movie for another decade plus. It failed. Sony tried to make a movie that was a different type of superhero movie. Yeah, by trying to market it as a superhero movie without actually having any superhero action in it. Very bold move. Didn't pay out for you. Well, some superhero movies like Morbius failed to impress critics. Funny thing about Morbius, written by the same guys who wrote Madam Web. How do you keep failing in the industry and continue to find work? Don't know. To impress critics and fans, but still fared well internationally. Pulled in $170 million worldwide. That's Morbius, by the way. And then even memed itself into a re-release that, well, less said about that, the better. You duped Sony. You duped Sony again, guys. Come on. Earned a paltry $25.7 million from foreign markets for a worldwide debut of just $51.9 million. Talking about the Webster once again, the madam herself, from a reported budget of $80 million, and that many sources claim is actually north of $100 million. And then also the marketing budget is more than the production budget. How does that... Whatever, man. It is still yet to debut in China. China, easily the biggest market and the most important foreign market. Not really when it comes to superhero movies or female superhero movies. Take a look at what it pulled in. Take a look at what the Marvels pulled in. Yeah. China's rather persnickety when it comes to what kind of Western fare they like to consume. And, well, let's just say Madam Web probably isn't necessarily right up there with anything that they would be pining for. Still, it seems there's a little hope yet that the Chinese release can offset all of the box office negativity surrounding the film. The abysmal critic reception of 13%. Like, come on. Rotten Tomatoes doesn't owe anybody a score. From the critics, one of the worst ever for any superhero movie. Yes, it doesn't help matters. And everybody who has seen it, everybody who has reviewed it has said from toes to titties, this thing is poorly done in every single aspect. The scripting, the directing, the framing, the performances, every single aspect that they could screw up, they found a way to do it in new and exciting ways. It's one of those films that is so incompetent, presented so earnestly, that it traipses into the so bad it's good territory, the likes of which The Room, Birdemic would normally occupy. This is just far and away. It's got to be the highest budget entry into those hallowed halls. Something that I seen mentioned before, and I just thought this was too shocking to actually believe, but on Wednesday night, you could actually watch advanced purchase sales declining in real time as buyers were refunding their tickets, said a major theatrical chain insider. Wow, man, this thing is so bad, and word of mouth of its poor quality spread so quickly that not any number of low-cut red carpet dresses could even convince anybody to turn back up and just fulfill their consumer obligations. That's hilarious. Insider added, it really says something when you'd rather have Shazam 2 numbers. Ooh. The film was expected to earn between $35 and $40 million domestically. It underwhelmed with $30.5 million. Yep, it didn't fare much better internationally. $35 million, 77 foreign markets worldwide for $65.5 million. Went on to gross $57.6 million domestically and $134 million worldwide from a reported $110 million production budget. Yes, the $100 million Warner Brothers spent to market it, meaning that it was abysmal. $134 million. It pulled in about this time last year. Would have thought that could have served as the low watermark for superhero movies, but you doubt the power of the web. Well, you do that at your own caution. A couple of days ago, I did a video specifically about how Dakota Johnson hates Madam Web, and, well, we have additional information as to maybe why she despised the production of this so vociferously, and, well, Dakota Johnson says drastic changes were made to the Madam Web script after she signed on. So she promised a bill of goods from Sony that this was going to be whatever, okay? This is going to be strong and powdered girl boss. There's going to be a lot of action. It's just going to be like, one of those trademark superhero films where, everybody's just going to come in, munch their popcorn and eagerly anticipate the sequel or the spin-offs that are going to be coming. And then it just ended up being, well, what people, I would say, seen in the theaters, but nobody's seeing this. Madam Web star Dakota Johnson has revealed that the movie script underwent significant changes after she signed on to play Cassandra Webb. The actress told The Wrap the early version of the Madam Web script was very different to the story that made it onto the screen. No, she didn't offer any specifics about the adjustments and that the writers were decided to make. There were drastic changes, she told the outlet, and I can't even tell you what they are. Yes, NDAs abound on this one. Johnson, who stars in the Spider-Man spin-off as Cassandra Webb, yes, young paramedic whose mother died in the Amazon researching spiders right before she died. The actress explained, yes, that the aspects of her character made the production quite challenging as they had to shoot some scenes multiple times with slight tweaks to create different visions of the future. Yeah, they had to take multiple shots of the same scene. A very unique phenomenon in acting, I'm sure. It had so many different camera setups, like triple the amount of work, she explained. It was very complex, and there's only minor differences between each version of the same scene. Yeah, like when the bird smashes into the window, and then you open up the window, and then the bird doesn't smash into the window. Very complex framing. So it was like puzzle pieces, and you're really paying attention to the moment we're in, and what angle we're in, and continuity and things like that. Johnson also wrote that certain aspects of the movie were not going to be good at all. Ooh, she previously revealed how she never worked, with blue screens before, so filming those scenes felt absolutely psychotic, and that she put a lot of trust into S.J. Clarkson. And then she's like, bitch, have you actually seen my resume? Why the hell are you doing that? I've never really done a movie where you are on blue screen, where there's fake explosions going off and somebody's going, explosion! And you act like there's an explosion. That, to me, was absolutely psychotic. I was like, I don't know if this is going to be good at all. I hope I did an okay job, but I trusted Clarkson. She works so hard. Oh, yes. Somewhere off in the distance, Chris Stuckman's ears perk up. See, I told you, people work really hard on these productions. And she has not taken her eyes off this movie since we started. But, as you can see from IGN, there are still a bunch of Spooderman spin-offs in development. You got Raven coming out later this year. You got Venom 3, The Venoming. Off in the not too distant future, you're going to have the conclusion of the Into the Spider-Verse, the Miles Morales Spider-Man adjacent films. That ought to be great. And now we're starting to hear more concrete rumors, because I did a couple of videos about the potential for a Spider-Man 4. What would that look like? Is Sony going to try to take back the rights to that? But then, well, now after the abysmal failure that was Madam Web, and they still have 2 more not Spider-Man Universe Spider-Man movies coming out later this year, and well, their hopes of getting back the most lucrative property, singular property, under the Marvel banner looks like it's just not going to happen. Disney and Marvel will go down swinging before they give up the license to Spider-Man, because that's just how valuable it is. So them trying to do something in order to maintain the rights to Peter Parker, to actually name him in a movie, or Aunt May for that matter, or maybe even Mary Jane. I threw a couple of ideas that are out there, but to actually have Spider-Man in one of their films attached to whatever they're going to be doing with the Avengers, well, we're going to have to see how Disney, because we've seen how Sony handles this, but, what are the rumors behind what Disney's up to? And, well, and to be fair, it's kind of early rumors. Obviously, all of these Hollywood scoopers, they're about as right as they are incorrect on things, but I've seen this, talked about a couple of different times, but okay. Sony Marvel update. Sony is rushing Marvel Studios with Spider-Man 4. Sony Animations is developing 2 more Spider-Man animated films. Amy Pascal wants Kevin Feige involved with the live-action Miles Morales films. Interesting. I thought you said you were working on live-action Spider-Man films. Tom Rothman is clashing with Feige. Can confirm that Sony wants to rush Spider-Man 4 no matter what. But in seeing where everybody's getting their information, it's kind of from a guy he's awfully accurate in his prognostications. Yeah, I've seen a couple of ideas because of the Blade movie. Oh, surprise, surprise, is very much falling apart, that they're going to try to push that off to 26 and then drop Spider-Man 4 in 2025 in order to set up him as being an integral part to the reassembled Avengers. But I've either got more on that coming out in the near future, or you've already seen it, because, well, Marvel's just about as convoluted as you could get at this point in time, and because there is no clear direction with anything that they're doing, and the fact that there hasn't been any such vision in the past few years, you know what you should do in order to get everything back on track? Oh, hand over more control to the guy that put you in this situation to begin with. It should be a great thing to do. But hey, if you really wanted to, if Disney really wanted to stick it to Sony, okay, take all of their best ideas, grab Sydney Sweeney. She got 2 handles. Make her Black Cat and Spider-Man 4. Do it, you cowards. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.